Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mountain Blade Warband in 2025. My name is the Marquis de Montalban. I am joined by Wrisq, who has graciously agreed to stream this here Scramble League weekend tournament. We've got a series of matches brought on by a number of players, some coming out of the retirement home, others simply wanting to experience a taste of Warband. We currently have Roberta and his team playing on the Swadian faction, going up against Cheese Ninja's team as Serenids. Looking at an initial team breakdown here, we've got 4 infantry for the Serenids, I believe 2 archers, 2 cav for a very standard meta loadout for the Serenids, with the Swadians playing roughly the same. 2 crossbows, 4 infantry, 2 cav as well. Balanced loadout's going to come down to factions, weapon strengths, and tactics. We see an initial flag spawn here in this very first round in favor of Swadia, holding the back courtyard, first map being Legacy Town. For those of you who probably more familiar with the maps have already recognized that, but here we are moving forward in this first matchup. Serenids attempting to pressure, the initial side wanting to take the corner, secure position for their archer before moving forward into the remainder of the fight. Swadian infantry holding steady on that flag. Only a minute and a half left. Swadian flag about halfway up. Serenids certainly playing pretty passive here as the fight starts off. Swadian cav getting into position behind as the Serenid infantry starts scooting over to start the fight with a first hit in big favor of the Swadians as the fight looks like it's going to start over there in the corner. We've got Cav coming in from both sides, infantry trying to do work. PPK, first kill, taking down John. Coming back in, double kill, killing Kairos. That is both of the archers for the Serenids just absolutely wiped out by that long all-pike Swadian cav here at the start. Serenid infantry mopping up the fight very quickly though, leaving an advantage in favor of the Serenids as they move forward, trading players back and forth. Laxtra with the headshot. We've got a 4v3, 2 crossbows, same position, trying to defend themselves, but we've got all the Serenids dismounted, and they are at risk getting picked apart here as they keep pushing forward into the Swadian spawn. Good kill on Lagstra there. Cow using his lance to good effect in order to work people down. Zakti with the kill, trying to stay up. Van takes him down, and PPK, sole remaining player for the Swadian team. He's got a long all pike. Stranger things have happened, but if you're facing someone with a bamboo or with a long all pike, those bamboo spears are exactly what you want. He's taken down. First round in favor of the Serenids. Look at that. Van Ars, nicknamed Van, with 6 kills here at this first set. As a Serenid infantry, that is certainly a drastic boost to the amount of armor and weaponry he's going to have coming into the second round.
Yes, it is, and as a result, I think we may see some serious momentum here. The Swadian infantry on that last fight seemed to back up into that corner, seeking safety from the cavalry, and it might have been their end there. Mostly Van, but the Nid infantry really cleaning up, and the lack of crossfire on the crossbows was rather unfortunate as well. But
well, it looks like the Swadian team has moved to the right this time, knowing they couldn't get a flag over there on the left. They scoot right, but they're not lucky. It is the Serenids' turn to defend as they have claimed the flag near stables. Swadian team seems to want to go through the Serenid spawn. They're scooting that way, bringing the entirety of the team, 4 infantry and 2 crossbows, not trying to split anybody off to the middle, just trying to keep their crossbows back behind them. Not sure how well this is going to play for them. It seems like the Serenid infantry, just based on that last fight, was absolutely obliterating the Swadians, and those Swadian swords are going to do nothing. Oh, bad team kill by Kairos, headshotting his own teammate, taking him down, and again, the infantry fight commences. Van Ars in heavy armor, not going to do him a lot of good as he's getting 2v1'd into the stables where he can't get Cav support. Meanwhile, Cav running all over the field, crossbow shooting, archers trying to stay up, and that long all-pike Cav putting in work, chicken with another team kill on Van this time, and realistically here, I think it is these team kills that have potentially cost the Serenids the round. We see the Serenid Cav still up, still trying to do damage, but with only 1 infantry remaining who's been corralled into the stables, haha, pun intended, unless their Cav is able to make something happen, this one's definitely going in favor of Swadia. And as we're seeing that, Cow gets dismounted, trying to do damage here and there, but as those incredibly paper-thin Serenid horses go down, the Cav's dismounted and finished off subsequently. And Swadia answers back with a defining round, PPK picking up, I think, the greatest number of kills there for his team to bring it 1-all. Still in the first set of this match.
And now we see if the Swadians here can make advantage of their armor here. Swadian armor, notoriously strong. Both teams playing how they did at the start here. No, the Nids are going left, looking to, I reckon, play center flag. And we'll see if they can capitalize and not get some team kills this time.
Yes, I think they had a very strong position to hold. Swadians had a very weak push with both their crossbows just sitting back behind. However, looks like the Swadians didn't really capitalize on this. I'm only seeing one Swadian infantry with any heavy mail armor. So Serenid's certainly still going to be able to tear them up in melee. Serenid's falling back to defend the flag. Archer's getting a nice crossfire here. You've got one archer taken up behind the tree. Other archer close to the Serenid spawn. Swadia has potential to push in and get a crossbow up top, but as long as they've got an archer still back behind that tree, not going to be able to get off a lot of shots here. Meanwhile, oh no, Swadian infantry pushing in away from their crossbows, where their crossbows cannot support. They've got to get in, their Cavs got to support them, otherwise they're going to be at severe risk in this fight. And we see Vanar's already picking up a kill, Kairos with another shutting down the Cav, as the Swadian infantry just trying to stay up and stay alive, praying for help that is not coming, as their Cav gets taken down, their archers get taken down, or forced into melee. And although we are seeing some fights back and forth, Crusader picking up a nice kill on Chicken there, it looks like overall this is drastically in favor of the Serenids for another strong round, as the remaining Swadian players, coincidentally the ones that were wearing mail, slowly getting whittled apart here.
We see Beansacks doing his best here, but going down. Unfortunately, the push there was just unsupported. Cav tried to assist, but it was dismounted and quickly finished off by Sparhawk. It was a good attempt, but just poorly coordinated. And now the fight swings back into the Serenid's favor here as they get armor. The precious Swadian armor is lost. It will rotate left as the Nids rotate right, like round one. And they are gambling on this forward flag here.
Look at Vanar's 8-2 as a Serenid infantry, putting in absolute work for his team at the moment. Surprisingly, no armor after that last round. Wonder if he simply forgot to upgrade. Or perhaps he's worried it paints a target on his back when he does. But either way, we got a flag spawn, Serenid advantage again. So we'll see what happens. It feels like generally the pushing team here has been the one that's been successful apart from that last round. As the Swadians moving forward, looks like they're trying to get engaged. The Serenid archers are actually caught out here. At least one of them is having to kind of melee as the Swadian Cavs starting to come in. Swadian infantry not doing really a great job setting their team up for stabs and bumps. Rob getting a kill, but Sparhawk getting one, Sauron getting one, and the Serenid team again just mopping up. The Serenid team just cannot speak, mopping up the Swadians. The few that remain, we have Swadian infantry without all pikes, not able to do anything against the Cav, and they're just getting rode roughshod over. Zakti with a bit of a fun stab there, dismounting one of the Serenid Cav, but too little, too late. Score 3-1 in favor of Cheese Ninja.
Must say, it was very admirable of the Swadians to push in there. They are not afraid to get into a melee, but they are just getting in there without too much concern or support by their team, or giving their crossbows time to fire. I mean, they have Lagstro, and they could get a potentially huge amount of value out of them. They're failing to do so.
Agreed. So this is not live. We can take a second here to kind of pause and reflect. Looking at this map, looking at these players and these factions, I certainly feel that Cheese Ninja's team dominated there with the infantry. They had some solid Cav support, they had some solid archer support, but if for no other reason, it looked like Cheese Ninja's team, as Serenids, was doing the damage that the Swadian infantry could not hope to match. And I'm curious if they're going to be able to keep that up despite the fact that they will no longer have such hard-hitting weapons, or if we're going to have to see a different part of their arsenal applied here.
They may. I believe their cav was very underrated, slightly overshadowed by Van in his domination as infantry, but the cav was doing a wonderful job of supporting and cleaning up the Swadian cav that last fight. That was beautiful. So we may see a reversal there in seeing a lot of Swadian cavalry as they can get those hunters. They're very tanky.
Yes, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not entirely sure. Let me look at who we have on the Swadian. I mean, we have Cal, we have Sparhawk. Realistically, they only have 2 cav on the Swadian team here, but if they had the players with the bandwidth, this wouldn't be the worst map to try and take 3 cav on. You're not going to have range superiority anyway because you're going to be slower firing compared to the archers. My recommendation here would be, considering what you're up against, drop a crossbow, add a cav, use your infantry to force the Saracens to put up those bamboo spears, and get right into them. Let your cav go to work with those long all pikes. Now, conversely, if you're Rob's team on the Saracens here, heavy reliance on the archers. I think that Lagstro has incredibly strong archers in this lineup, and now with a superior rate of fire with those Serenad bows, definitely a chance for them to be putting in some work, provided that the Swadian cav is not able to shut them down.
Seems Rob's team is ready here. We may see a ready from Cheese as well. I didn't see if you already did. We should be getting in here any minute.
I have not seen him yet, but I will check, and we will be soon to launch into the second set of this 4-set match, second half of the first map. And word from the bench is that Cheese Ninja's team waiting on Damon. Wasn't sure if he'd be present. I'm given to understand he's been dealing with some ping problems over the course of this tournament, which has certainly impacted his ability to be the carry infantry that he's often expected to be. However, stranger things have happened. When the ping is steady, he's obviously a fearsome force on the battlefield.
And a reset here. I do not see Damon. So I dare say they may not need him. They have been playing very well. They are up on the set.
Yeah, it looks like they are choosing to sit Vanars, who was their best infantry on Saracens. They're choosing to sit him in favor of Damon. Not entirely sure behind the strategy of that, unless Vanars, for whatever reason, had to go AFK for this upcoming set. But there is Damon, 94 ping and all. And this is certainly about to be the next set that we're going to be getting into here.
Shortly after they finish this little hoplite duel with Bean Sacks, I'm sure. And there it is.
Yes. But one thing that I am increasingly concerned about, and obviously for those viewers that are watching this are probably well aware, this tournament is happening in North America in 2025. Which is something that I don't think any of us really expected to see. A large amount of credit here really goes to Roberta Baratheon just for incessantly messaging everyone on his friends list to get him to sign up for this. So credit to him for working to bring everybody together, and we have managed to get a solid 4 teams, potentially 5, but we've had some issues with late availability with some players hopping on to engage in this tournament. Now, one concern that I am seeing here, there is a lot of rust to go around with some of these players. Now, since a number of them have been playing in pickups going back a couple of weeks, couple of weekends at this point, and a number of them are also transitioning over from Mountain Blade Bannerlord. which, as most of our viewers probably know, is the successor to Mountain Blade Warband, and it features some basic similarities in combat and game mechanics. Other parts are drastically different, however, and it's been an argument from both communities for years that there is not a lot of overlap there in terms of the best players from each respective game. However, those players that have not even touched Warband for a number of years, I believe the last real tournament that we saw in North America was probably not back in 2021, 2022. So it's been a number of years since there's been any serious competitive progress here going on in North America. Number of the players are rusty, and I think it's showing most particularly among these infantry players. Some of it's just a lack of game knowledge, others it's just pure rust. That we have instances where I'm seeing infantry not taking spears, infantry just ignoring the cav, figuring that they're not going to be the ones to get picked off. And in a team game like this, we have an absolute necessity to be able to stay alive, because ultimately in this game, after all my numbers of years of playing, one of the things you're going to want to be able to do is, as long as you are alive, your team's got a chance.
Absolutely.
Looks like,
and continue. Sorry.
go ahead.
I was just going to add that along with that rust comes a in new players comes a lack of cohesion, which, as we are potentially seeing, is what is causing a lot of the desync between infantry, archer, and cav, and causing some major mistakes here. These are just growing pains, and I'm sure players are fairly happy with how this has gone. We will get more tournaments in the future, and these fights will become closer and even sweatier.
And that just makes for good television. Alrighty, looks like the combatants are set. We will be relaunching and moving on here to the second set. Legacy Town, Roberta's team is Serenids, Cheese Ninja is Swadia. Cheese Ninja with a commanding lead.
I want to know your thoughts, Marquis, on Cheese Ninja's decision to swap out their top player Van for, or at least for this set, for Damon. Do you think that ping is going to be a huge factor?
Like it. I think it is. I think that this is a substantial problem for him, and I commend Cheese Ninja for wanting to make sure to get all his players their opportunity to get in and play, strut their stuff, gain experience. But, realistically here, this is, you lose, you're out. And I would want to keep my best 8 in, or possibly try and secure a more dominant lead before rotating players in. Because right now, Cheese Ninja's got Sauron with 113 ping and Damon with 105. Both of these players very strong infantry in the past, both of whom dealing with rust and high ping. To me, that is a recipe for disaster. Especially, these are Swadian infantry, they're not able to deal a lot of damage, and they are up against those Serenid axes. And indeed, rather than move left out of spawn like is typical for the Swadian team on the first set, they have chosen to move right, the less aggressive posture, hoping for an easy flag spawn. Didn't get it. Now they're pressing forward, going through the middle of the map, probably the worst location here, if I'm going to be perfectly honest. Although if they're smart, okay, I don't dislike that. They're going to rotate all the way around, leave one crossbow in middle. That is not perhaps the best way to push this, but it is acceptable. But no, they need Kairos to go back in the middle and shoot from there while protected from Cav. He doesn't need to be chasing his team. He's so far out of the fight. It's going to be another couple seconds before he can even shoot. Crossbows are using the same corner. That is terrible positioning for the Swadian team. Meanwhile, the Serenids are set up. They have, again, archers basically shooting from the same spot, but a little bit more of a spread. Serenid infantry flags already about 15 seconds from going up. Swati is going to be forced to engage here. As they do engage, ooh, easy early kill there on Rob's Serenid Cav. Cow gets another early pick. We got trades coming off. Cow carrying his team. He doesn't care how the infantry's handling. He wants to move forward and do damage, and we have heavy advantage in favor of the Swatians as they are picking players apart. PPK bad team kill on Lagstro, and he's cut off now. He gets dismounted. He is going down, and this looks like it is going to be a solid victory in favor of Swatia. However, they are only ahead by 1. They've got 2 crossbows shooting. If those crossbows don't land their shots, then their infantry are going to get taken down. A lot of these players have been doing a lot of team fighting infantry practice, and I don't expect that Swatian player to survive super long. And now it's even numbers. Chunky gets a solid kill on John. Cheese Ninja forced here to be trying to hold his own. Oh, and the Serenids pull it back. Who would have predicted all of those early losses? But their infantry stays alive, stays fighting, keeps with it, and we've got a 3-0 and then 2 2-0s from their infantry squad, mopping up almost the entirety of the Swatian team.
Just pure consistency to not only hold, but just to clean up there in very secure fashion. That was beautiful. I can't imagine how difficult it is for 2 of the more high tier players on Swatia having high ping and being infantry at that. That must be a massive disadvantage, and I very much question the composition because of that. I don't know if these players can play other positions, but
well, it looks like Swatia very angry about losing that round. They thought they had it in the bag. Wanted to be aggressive, tried chasing after the Serenids, thought better of it. Probably smart, not a good idea to get kited out. But the flag spawns on the far corner of the map. Serenids are the first ones to take control of it, meaning they're going to have a nasty archer crossfire around that flag. Swatia doing the right thing, pushing through the middle, getting a crossbow up on those stairs. He can do a lot of damage up there, but they need the other one really to go back through middle and circle to the far right, and it looks like he's doing that. But until he gets set up, the infantry is stuck waiting and hoping to avoid foot shots, and that flag for Serenids is creeping higher.
Looking fairly similar.
Kairos. Yep, Kairos for the Swatian crossbow. He's in position. Zakti forced to pull his shield out and retreat. Swatians see that as a weakness, say now's the time to capitalize. They're not shooting. Push in, force the fight, but it might be Serenid advantage here. They pulled the infantry out of John's line of sight. He's had to jump off the tower, still doing work as the Cav starts crashing. Serenid infantry putting in work once again. But the Swatian All-Pikes managing to do some severe damage. Bad team kill on Damon. And the archers just sitting back in the spawn, in the Swatian spawn, but Serenid archers putting in a lot of work there to get tags and get kills to shut down those Swatian players. So now we are seeing a 3v3. We've got Cheese Ninja, who's leading his team, doing a great job as infantry. John and Kairos against PPK, Zakti, and Lagstro. 2 ranged units for either side, but PPK really needs a shield, and he manages to get one. Meanwhile, the flag has gone almost entirely back down. John with a good shot on PPK. That might be the difference maker here, because now the crossbows firing from cover, especially John, going to be able to shut down the Serenid attempts to actually shoot here. And Kairos, gets a shot on Zakti, and that, unless Lagstro makes some magic happen here, is going to be a round for the Swatians. And another shot from Kairos. Headshot this time, doing some work to make up for that team kill. Pulls the team ahead, and this is another round for Cheese Ninja.
Absolutely beautiful leadership from Cheese there. Not only turning the tables of that fight, getting a double kill with his All-Pike, but in doing so, turning it into a defensive crossfire for his crossbows. And that was really what sealed the deal there. Very well done, leading from the front.
All right, and the Swatian team moving out. Serenids were ready to respond to their aggression this time. They said, y'all want to try and take the non-aggressive position? We're not going to let you do that. Swatians turn. They block them off. Swatians trap now. by the Serenids just inside their spawn. Serenids don't want to push this. If they push in, that's a very closed-in space. Their cav will get cut down, but they've got the flag advantage. So now that it's spawned behind them, Swati is going to be forced to press. They need to not let Kairos escape. If he escapes, that's a huge problem, but they seem to have him boxed in. Let your archers sit back, shoot, do damage, and the fight is commencing. And we see Cal, ooh, bad early pick on Lagstro there. That is going to be a substantial injury. PPK takes out Damon. We have Swati and Cav working around, getting kills. Sparhawk putting in a bunch of work there in the melee, getting bumps, getting stabs. Looks like the Swatians are really pulling ahead here. Only 3 left for the Serenid team. As again, just that all-pike Cav is doing so much damage here. Cal racking up a number of kills and assists on this round, leaving only PPK, who was subsequently killed again by Cal.
If swatting Cav wasn't powerful enough with that long all pike, Cow certainly is. What a fantastic tool to assist your team here. To just get in there, shut down Lagstro, one of their key players, get in the back, bumping, keeping their other Cav busy, doing very well.
Yeah.
As we see, even
like
heavier heavier armor for Cheese here.
Rob has swapped himself to infantry, so only 1 cav remaining for the Serenid team. Now that is PPK, he counts as 2 cav by himself, but they are going to struggle a little bit here unless they're able to force some kind of early engagement. Meanwhile, as you said, heavy armor for Cheese Ninja, Red Brigandine. He can lead his team from the front and live to tell the tale. Flag spawns on Serenids, they need to not retreat to the flag. They need to find wherever Swati is coming from and just push right back at him, because the longer that they're going to sit back there and set up, the worse this is going to end up being for them. As the Swatian team circling around to the right, Serenid set up, their archers struggling to find spots to shoot from, basically on the same vector here, as the Swatian infantry crossing over, sees that the archers are on the same vector, says we're going to force the fight here. But they might overextend. If the Swatian infantry goes around that corner, their archers cannot help. And meanwhile, Roberta, leading his team, he is distracting the crossbows from behind, but it doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot, as the Swatians still putting in work, doing the damage. They've looted the Serenid weapons, so there is no longer a key difference in favor of the Serenids, and the Swatian team, it seems, is just too strong here. They've got too many people up, they're doing too much damage. And even with good kills here at the end, there is just too much of a numbers advantage in favor of Cheese Ninja. And that brings us to the close of the first map. Cheese Ninja 6, Roberta 2.
Very well done.
Second map is going to be Reverend Village, Vagers versus Nord. Swapping to that now.
As we wait for this to get swapped over, we will transition to an intermission and we will see you shortly. right, we are back in the second map here. Got Vagers and Nords on Reverend. And I believe you said Rob is on Vagers first. Oh, that broke.
Yes.
Abdanian revoked
Yes.
viewer status. All right, here we go.
There we go. Are you good? You good?
We're good. We're good. We're back in it.
All right, well, for those of you just tuning in, we have some breaking news. Despite the fact that Cheese Ninja is heavily in front here, 6-2 ahead of Rob's team, Xerion, one of Rob's tier 1 players, has joined the server at a clutch moment for his team. Now, in case any of y'all were wondering, at this point, in order to win, Roberta needs to not only 3-0 on Vagers, he needs to at least 3-2 on Nords as well, which is a tall order to ask on an open map such as this. We are seeing now teams moving forward. 3 infantry from the Nords, 2 archers, 3 cav. Very strong choices here from the Nords. Extra infantry, not a bad option. Those jabs will give them a huge advantage. Meanwhile, 3 infantry from the Vagers. I don't like that at all. 2 archers. The Vagers are being forced to retreat and kite around. Their archers are not in position at all. Hopefully they'll be able to pull the Nords into some kind of position here, but the fight breaks out, not even on a flag, just simply in a random spot on the map. You don't see all too often. This is perfect for the Nords being able to force a fight like this, but the Vagar archers sitting in the back, basically free shooting, apart from the cav working to shut them down. There is not a whole lot that can be done. Dame with a bad team kill. Spar headshot jab on Zacti, just ride by jabs. Infantry fight starting to peter out. Still got the Vagar infantry alive. Wouldn't have predicted that. But the Cav still circling, trying to do damage. Bad stop on PPK. He is at risk of going down. If PPK goes down, they are definitely in trouble. Vagar team ahead by 1, now ahead by 2, as the Nords not able to capitalize on that sudden push. It was a good idea. I really liked it in theory, but theory oftentimes suffers from the practicalities of the situation. And the practicalities of the situation here, if you let 2 Vagar archers just sit 20 feet away from the fight and pepper everybody that's fighting, that's going to be an advantage for the Vagars. And here we can see Lagstro getting 3 kills just in that one round. I'd have to go back and watch the replay, but I am certain that he was a key factor for Rob's team pulling out the first round there in that first part of the map.
Absolutely, and the KD does not always reflect it. I imagine that there were a lot of body shots, a lot of cav shots coming in from Lagstro and Zacti there, getting in some damage. We will see.
So we are seeing Nord still being aggressive. I think recognizing that their best chance of success here is to try and force some engagement before the Vagar archers are set. We see Zacti without a shield gets shot because of it as he's running around trying to protect himself. Not sure what the Vagars are doing here. Their archers are all over the map. Their infantry on a whole different part of the map. Looks like the Nords wanting to force another engagement here. They're pushing forward. They say open field. We'll take it. Who cares? Early jab hit on some of these Vagar infantry. Fight commences. It's just going to be a question of whose Cavs doing more work here, as we see Petrin first kill on Beansacks, advantage Nords. Vagar archers sitting in the back trying to shoot off, but not as good positions this time. Significantly further away from the fight. Meanwhile, PPK working to try and shut down the Nordic archers. I would much prefer to see him fighting the other teams in infantry there, but he is just getting peppered apart. Vagar Cav running into each other. They've lost a number of players there, but they are certainly getting kind of picked apart by this Nord team. Petrin, 160 ping, still putting in incredible work, really representing the South American community here pretty well. I say that, and then he gets team killed. Just so those of you that wonder, John is Texan, so there might be a little bit of a regional problem there with the South American. But apart from that, Petrin is still doing a lot of great work. And of course, John has a bad reputation in this community of team killing. Honestly, absolutely. Very streaky player, all things considered. We see Sparhawk heading over, taking the flag, being smart. 40 seconds left. Make sure to secure it. We've got Cal starting to run down Lagstro with the rest of his team following up behind. You never want to count out Lagstro. The guy's played at the top of the scene for so many years, but against these numbers and with this loadout, it's not surprising. He goes down. That's another round for Cheese Ninja and one step closer to a victory in favor of Cheese.
Yes, I believe if Rob loses another round here, I think he's out of it. If I'm correct in thinking that.
If Rob loses another round, Cheese Ninja has secured at least a tie, which would force us to a third map tiebreaker. In the event that Cheese secures 2 more rounds total, he will have won this regardless of what Roberta ends up scoring. Here it looks like Nords preempted the Vagers, booked it left, secured a side of church. Vagers being incredibly worried about being pushed. They're keeping their archers way back behind their infantry now. After 2 rounds, they've learned that that's what the Nords want to do. I'm not a fan of how spread out their infantry are here. It's going to be really difficult for them to stand up to a cohesive push, as the Nords seem to be starting to scoot forward on the left. Looks like they sent one archer potentially around middle. He'll be working to press, as there's a bit of an archer duel developing on the left side. But meanwhile, you have the Nordic infantry sitting on flag. Cal with an early kill on PPK. Oh, that is absolutely crucial here. Kairos trying to escape, getting jabbed, getting shot, getting wounded, getting cut off by his own teammate. Infantry fight commences elsewhere. Zirian goes down. Rob with a double kill, Vanars and Sparhawk, but it may be too little too late, as the majority of this fight has taken place outside the range, realistically, of the allied archers, and the Vagers not able to take enough time to actually land the shots necessary in order to get these kills. As I say that, Lagstro taking out Cheese Ninja, still got 2 Vager archers, and those Nordic Cav, Cow and Peachrin, their horses look wounded. But it's a question of how many arrows that the archers actually still have left. Zacti down to 4 total. You can see 1 arrow disappearing from his quiver every time he draws his bow. 3 arrows, 2 arrows, and only 1 arrow remaining as he moves toward the flag, with 5 players from the Nords left. I do not foresee this going in their favor, and indeed with Peter once again killing off Cal, and then coming in for a couch on Zacti. This was a solid victory for Cheese Ninja.
And that is them one step closer to getting to the finals here. And the Nords, despite being at a disadvantage here map-wise, very durable, getting in there, winning their infantry fight in dominant fashion. Despite the ping, I say that, but Damon is negative due to team kills, but doesn't tell the full story. Perhaps the damage is good, perhaps he's assisting well. They will play defensively here, waiting for probably an open spawn down by the river here, as the Vagers make the same assumption. They are holding the better position, and they get it. Getting Lagstro and Zacti up into the rock here in the back, probably the most important rock in the game. Probably seen the most kills.
That rock has led to the deaths of many players over the years, as we are seeing the Nords starting to stream across the field. If I were the Vager Cav, I would be going for Kairos in the back. He's just in the open, got nothing around him, but he doesn't have any cav anywhere nearby for the Vagers to push, so he's able to make it into the forest. Now the Vager cav starting. Oh, and PPK says, I don't care if you're by a tree. The tree doesn't stand up to my own tree, and that is his lance coming in. Solid hit there. Oh my goodness, we're finally seeing some plays from these Vager players as the cav gets a beautiful crash here. Nord infantry fighting desperately to stay alive. Nord Archer, the one guy still up, he's so far away from the fight, I doubt he's really having any effect here. Cal really working to pull it back, though. We are seeing Vagers only with a single advantage here, with most of their cav being dismounted by this point. I don't know if PPK realizes how badly he needs to stay up, but meanwhile the Nord cav needs to come back to Vanars, because he goes down, and that is the last of their ground pressure. Now they've got 2 Cav dealing with 2 archers and Lagstro. Oh, nasty cross map headshot on John there. Those two have been fighting it out for a solid 10, 12, 15 years at this point, and Lagstro just gets another notch in the eternal rivalry as PPK finishes off Cow and Peacherin. Solid victory for Rob, holding his team together when they need it most.
Absolutely. That was a huge clutch up against some players who have been showing their mettle. Cow and Van really getting a lot of kills, but being shut down just by great positioning, perfect faction for it. Cav came in and messed everything up for them. It was beautiful. Very well done. As the both teams, well, Nord's going right again. They want to go along the fence here. Vager's going right, playing the mill potentially. We'll see.
Yes, the Nord's certainly still trying to be aggressive here, trying to push along fence line, minimize the risk of getting shot as they move around. Vager's, I think, anticipating this. They're already moving around. We'll see what happens here. The Nord's much slower on the push than they have been previous rounds they've tried this strategy. They may feel pressure to just go on the flag, but I think they realize that would be a mistake. They are still loading up and ready to be moving forward as the Vager Cav starts threatening them. Vager infantry still playing a little far off the mark. It looks like they are trying to bait the Nord infantry, saying, hey, come on, get away from those walls. We won't hurt you. And while the Vager infantry might not, the Vager Cav and archers certainly will. We see John, Nord Archer, set up there in the middle, positioned himself well to be able to be doing damage, but we've got Lagstro, good armor, he's using a strongbow, he is set up on the church wall. Anybody drops a shield on that flag, he is going to be landing tags on them. As we see the Nords decide to fall back and hold the flag, they're getting an archer spread. Zacti, good early kill on Sparhawk, riding around. Where even was Zacti? My goodness, what a shot.
He is up at the windmill on tree.
Yeah, and
Very
he just
impressive.
landed another one. He is
Kairos,
getting
I
those
believe.
cross-map shots. Exactly. Now, is he going to be able to help the fight on flag? I don't think so. I think he's too far away, realistically, to help here, but he's done his job. He's taken at least one cab out. As the fight commences on flag, Nord's retreating further and further away, trying to draw the Vager infantry away from the support of their cav and archers, and it looks like it's working for him. Lagstro gets a headshot on Lagstro kills Kairos. Vanar's killing off Crusader. The infantry fight here fairly even, but there is a lot more cav for the Vager team, and I think that might be making the difference here as the Vagers win the initial skirmish, but now they're falling back trying to hold the flag. 30 seconds left. If they secure that flag, they should be fine. PPK kills Peacherin off in Broom Alley, and at this point, Beansack's running desperately for a shield while he leaves his team to mop up behind him as the rest of the players continue fighting their flag. Vanar's taken down by Lagstro again. 10-2. At the risk of starting some unnecessary drama, there was certainly some contention among the community that Alice was potentially rated as a higher archer-skilled player than Lagstro, and I'm wondering if that is encouraging his play in these matches. But as we say that, John going off, pointless really because it's the last round in the set, but he says, I want to pad my own stats a little bit, and pad stats he does. So that brings us to Cheese 8-5 Roberta.
Team Rob hanging on by a thread. They can break even here.
Exactly.
We have yet to see, not that we casted them, but we haven't seen a tiebreaker map yet. But we will see if we do. I haven't personally seen that map, maybe briefly, but I haven't played on it. And I would love to see some professional level play.
So, assuming that the tiebreaker is going to be Winterberg, that is a rough map. Most callers don't have experience calling it. It wouldn't surprise me if Cheese Ninja had never called that map before. And it also wouldn't surprise me if Rob had hardly called it either, because it's rarely, if ever, used. For those viewers that are tuning in and are not familiar with the Winterberg map, it is a complete mirror matchup. But one of the things that is unique about the map that you don't see in a lot of these other maps, there are towers that the players can access, they can get up on, that are basically totally protected from cavalry. They're able to get up, they can shoot over wide spans of the map. So if you have a solid archer faction, you better hope that your opponent does not, because if you're able to take some of these archer spots, you will absolutely obliterate your opponents on this map. That being said, Winterberg does count as a closed map. Not unusual to see 4, 5, even 6 infantry. So Nords is always a favorite pick there, and there is also at times a chance of the ever-present Nord mirror on Winterberg, which the idea of us facing that in 2025 would be absolutely terrifying, but stranger things have happened. Looks like we are waiting a little bit on Cheese Ninja's team. Not sure who they're waiting on particularly, but they're having a little bit of a delay here while we are preparing to go into this final set. Again, as a reminder for our viewers, we have a situation where Roberta must win 3 rounds without giving up a single loss as Nords against Vagars on Reverend Village.
Well, when you put it like that.
It is, yeah, it's a tall order. It can happen. We have a number of good players on Nords, and hey, don't count out their Cavs' ability to do some work with those javelins. We know that the Vagars have solid teams. They've got John at Archer, they've got Kairos at Archer, but at the same time, we have seen some incredible plays from both sides in this match thus far.
Still down a player. Do you know who we are waiting on?
I do not. Cheese Ninja, I believe, is here. He simply said that they were waiting while trying to figure things out. Can't imagine it would be overly complicated drops for the Vagar team. However, it's possible that there's a key player that he wants to get in who has had to go AFK for whatever reason.
Potentially a quick bathroom break as the nerves get to them. Very high tension.
If anyone would need the bathroom break, you would think that it would be the Nord team here, but perhaps playing with the full bladders gives them an extra boost, perhaps. Okay, Cheese Ninja ready. And here we go. Final set.
Potentially final set. We will see if they can clutch
Potentially
up.
final set. I will profess I have my doubts. I've made sure to give you streamer status. If one of these other admins in the chat takes it away, let me know.
All right.
We are seeing, let's see, what are the Nords doing? That's the key question here, as we see a number of ground troops, 2 archers, 3 infantry, 3 cav for the Nords. Meanwhile, over on the Vagar side, I think we have a very, same thing for the Vagars, 3 infantry, 2 archers, 3 cav. I am highly surprised by this. I'm very used to teams running 4 cav on open maps, but I suppose part of the issue may simply be the bandwidth with player experience. Flag spawns far right, Vagars caught out far and away from that side of the map, but the Nords for some reason just S-keying with their shields up. Not entirely sure why, with the Vagars being so far away, but the Nords do make it to the flag first. They're going to be able to set up, get their archers behind the rock in the tree, and the Vagars are going to have to sprint across the entire map to try and get there in time. Now, this is one of those flags where, honestly, I prefer to push it instead of defending it, because while you're pushing, the cav are focused on the fight in the middle, and if you've got good archers just sitting in the back, well, they will be able to put in a lot of work. Now we see PPK, strong early shot there, breaking Damon's shield for the Vagars, who promptly gets jabbed by that Nord infantry. They are targeting him with those long-range javelin shots. John loans him a shield. He's coming back to the fight, but meanwhile that Nordic flag getting ever higher, about 20 seconds or so before they win on it, so the Vagar infantry are going to have to crash instead of trying to circle for archers. Nordic Cav working their way around, need to be careful of those Vagrant archers, but the fight commences, and the Nordic infantry pressing in, Cav crashing both sides, lots of damage being done here, and we see Cav with a bad team kill on Van to start off. But ooh, the Cav for the Vagrant team putting in work. Nord Cav, meanwhile, cutting each other off. Lagstra getting kill, Hay getting a kill, PPK with a kill, Cal clapping back once again, working his way to try and pull his team together. Roberta with a solid bump stab on Damon. PPK finishes off Cal with one Vagrant archer left. It looks like Roberta will live to fight one more round. PPK with another solid kill, bringing him to 3-0.
That was a wonderful hold by the Nords there. Looked a little iffy when the Vagrant Cav crashed in. However, the positioning of the Nord archers, despite having short bows, was enough to definitely assist everybody in melee. The Nord Cav really playing good defense there, keeping the backline safe. A little messy in the group fight there, but you know, it was a good effort by Cal to try to keep his team in there despite the team kill. He did get quite a few kills to make that back up. But it wasn't quite enough. We'll see if the
and meanwhile,
Vagers...
we're starting to see a confrontation here over at church. We got a Vagrant archer all the way back at Windmill. Incredibly annoying for those Nords to have to deal with here, as they've got one archer pressing around toward the middle, Lagstra kind of supporting the infantry fight near flag. Nords starting to raise it. Really, they don't need to try and push. Let the Vagers be the ones to initiate this fight. But now they're just backing off the flag again. I don't see why they would want to. They could have stayed there, turned their shields, absorbed the arrow fire. They've got good shields, make them waste their arrows, but they've backed off. They've ceded the ground to the Vagers. I feel like this is a tactical error. They need to be throwing their jabs. They need to be putting pressure. And as I say that, an amazing headshot there from Hay Vordiak. That might be the play of the match here, depending on how things go down. But elsewhere, Cav fighting on archers. Oh my goodness, John kills PPK, then team kills Sparhawk. Everything to be perfectly balanced. We are seeing kills coming in left and right here. Vagrant team getting picked apart. As meanwhile, we are seeing John stuck in between two archers, somehow able to free fire still. Probably not going to be enough. We've still got 3 players from the Vagers, 5 from the Nords, down to 2 from the Vagers. Petrin trying to make something happen, but not able to do enough damage here as he gets stopped. Horse gets targeted down, manages to get out, but ultimately they go down. And Rob is 1 round away.
I can't believe how
this map to a tiebreaker.
He has been bringing it back. His team is playing very well. Nords, for whatever reason, doing well in this map was very unexpected. Getting that pick on Kairos was huge.
Yeah, so that's the sort of play that goes into a highlight reel there. That you say part of that's luck, part of that's skill. But realistically, you know, trading 1 for 1 like that, kill on Kairos is huge. But then again, the Nords also took PPK out of that, or sorry, the Vagers took PPK out of that fight immediately there as he tried to Cav crash on John. Of course, John turning around and team killing one of his own Cav probably didn't help. We see the flag spawning open. Nord's going to beat the Vagers there once again, but the Vagers a lot closer this time, able to actually apply some pressure as the Nords fall back. They need to be careful not to get too strung out here, as it looks like the Vagers, led by Damon, are simply charging across the field. I don't like that strategy unless those infantry can stay together. They need to circle around, not engage the Nordic infantry just there on the flag, but try and put pressure on some of these archers at the same time. But at the same moment, we see the Cav circling. We're seeing jabs getting thrown, arrows being fired. Vagers going to force the fight on flag flag here, and oh, Damon gets taken down with the Jav tags. Cal, they come in with couches. John has swapped to Cav at this point. It looks like the Vegas are really trying to do some work with the extra Cav loadout, trying to force a victory here, as we're seeing the Nords in full retreat backwards, but they are ahead in players. That they have a substantial player advantage. Even though the Vegas have the flag, they're still getting shot to pieces as Cal gets taken down by Lagstro, and with that, only 4 players remain for Vegas. I think we're seeing Winterberg. And we are.
I can't believe it. It wasn't much, but I reckon the hill on the back here, right in front of the archers, slowing down the cav, making it hard to get in and potentially couch. Not that that was going to be the most useful for this fight, but really slowing things down for the inf to do what they do as Nords, and hold it down. Archers firing. Very well done.
All right, and I think with that, we should probably go to a brief intermission while we get things set up here for the tiebreaker.
We will be right back.
It's almost harvesting season.
are back. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Winterberg, a map that many of us have not laid eyes on, rarely if ever, and certainly not for a number of years. I believe last time any North American has seen this map would have been in Nations Cup, and that certainly got some bitter memories, so I believe a few people in spec are commentating on that. To clear it out for the spectators who are wondering what has happened, we're in a circumstance where there was not an official policy actually set up for the tiebreaker circumstance. So in this instance, considering the time that the parties are going and the fact that we still have a finals match to play tonight, the decision was made that only a single set would be played to make sure that there could be no tie scenario. And with the fact that only one set would be played, Winterberg was agreed to by the captains, and the faction pick was done by Rob for Swadia. We are seeing Roberta's team on the bottom. We will refer to them as the Rebels. So it will be Roberta's Rebels versus Cheese's regular Swadian side. Now, incidentally, for those people spectating, you'll see that there is one flag spawn in the middle of the map, and then the other two flag spawns are in the back left and back right square corners, respectively. Near the little bastions with the ladders. As our spectators can see, there are multiple towers where archers can set up and have basically cav protected locations to shoot from here. As we were discussing earlier in the stream, in the event that we end up on Winterberg, it is heavily a an archer friendly map. The fact that we are playing Swadia here might have significant consequences because we are going to be seeing long all pikes on the field from all parties involved with a slower rate of fire with these crossbows, and it is anyone's guess how this is going to go. We have solid cav players from both teams, solid archer players from both teams. As we saw earlier in the match, Cheese Ninja's infantry were absolutely dominating Roberta's. However, again, with Swadia, the infantry are typically not the ones gaining the kills, and certainly not with their own swords. This is going to be a match that is in all likelihood going to come down to the cav and archers on each respective team. Let's see, I believe Roberta has announced ready. Let's see if Cheese is as well.
There is the ready from Cheese. We're about to get this started.
Alrighty, here we go. And this is going to be, reminder, only one side of this set. First team to 3 wins it and proceeds on to the finals.
And if you would be so kind to give me my streamer mode,
yes,
Mr.
the
Marquis.
streamer, of course.
Thank you very much.
We didn't practice this. I didn't practice giving you streamer in overtime. Whatever will we do? Let's see. We've got Rob leading infantry heavy, 4 infantry, 2 crossbows, 2 cav. So the rebels with a standard loadout. Meanwhile, we've got 5 infantry from Cheese's typical Swadian team, only 1 crossbow. I think that might be the right play here. I think that the double crossbow play might end up harming Rob's rebels a little bit more unless they're able to just land shots. Just both sides posturing. The first one who leaves to go to the flag will abandon their crossbow to get pushed off of the top position. And meanwhile, nobody really wants to fight up top unless you're Cheese Ninja's team. He's got the extra infantry, but Rob's team will simply fall back, bait them forward, and let their cav protect, which is exactly what they're doing. The fight commences. My goodness, I fully expect a lot of team kills here. No one's going to know who's who as we see infantry fighting back and forth, stabbing, spearing. working. Cheese Ninja securing first kill here, as these swatting all pikes not able to do a lot of work because the infantry are doing a good job at fending them off, but we are seeing multiple kills on Roberta's team here, and his team claps back with a nice 2 big kills on Cow and Van. Solid players for Cheese Ninja, but it's back and forth. Roberta's team down 2 players here. Unless they're able to make something happen, it looks like this first round's going to Cheese Ninja, who's leading his team with 2 kills right now. All those group fights he was participating in earlier really seem to be paying off for him. As we see PPK, last player alive for Roberta's Rebels, as the first round looks like it's going for Cheese Ninja. We have 1 minute left. Regular Swatians are securing the flag. No need to risk unnecessary deaths. Again, we're looking at Swatians here. The more players that survive, the more that'll get a chance to armor up.
I think PPK is thinking the same thing here. Is hoping to get a finish, but did not pay off for him, and now he will not be able to save any money for this next round. It's going to put them in an even rougher position, as a good number of Cheese's groups survived there. We'll see if some armor comes in.
Yes, well, it is Winterberg. It's a snowy map, and we are seeing the beginnings of the Swatian snowball as the teams move forward into the middle of the map, mirroring each other once again. Sorry, I can't help it with these puns. Just got to do them. It's part of the job. I'm a streamer now. This is what we do. The teams contesting each other over that wooden bridge. Cheese Ninja, again, moving forward, taking the dominant position here, says, we've got the infantry. We want to use them. Rob's team starting to scoot back a little bit, trying to lure their opponents perhaps into a melee fight. Looks like they swapped Zacti to infantry. They have the flag advantage here, but realistically they don't. They can't fall all the way back. If they fall all the way back, they're going to give up that crossbow spot. I don't think Rob realizes that. He's bringing his team back around, and he gives up that crossbow spot to John without a fight. Unless they force a fight right here, right now, Rob's team's going to be in a horrible position, and they start the fight, and it is... Oh my goodness, I cannot watch. Unless his team's able to pull something out, they are in trouble with an early 2 kills, dominating his team, and it is a slaughter. It is a slaughter. John landing that headshot on Bean Sacks from the backside, and not sure where Sparhawk just got shot from, but they are finishing up the remainders of Roberta's team, and again, multiple players surviving, multiple players going to be armoring up, and we are in for potentially a 3-0 here on Winterberg Swatia v Swatia. Incidentally, for those viewers that are also listening, I've been informed that in potentially a surprising upset, I believe that Ebdanian's team beat Hemp's. So in the event that Cheese Ninja ends up winning this final round, we are potentially looking at a finals match between the 3rd and 4th set respectively. Or sorry, 3rd and 4th seed respectively here. We have the Swatian infantry from Cheese Ninja pushing up again. 3 players in Brigandine. Other than the all pikes, not a lot of ways to counter that from Rob's team. Backing up once again. Flag spawns in the middle. Roberta says, you know what? Just go for it. Let's see how things go. Fight commences. They're going into it. One on the other. Cow kills PPK immediately. That is rough. Lagstro takes out Van, but Cow continuing to circle around, stabbing everything with a heartbeat that's not on his team. The Cav for Cheese Ninja is just doing work. And realistically here, I believe that this is all in favor of Cheese Ninja, despite a valiant showing by Rob's team, including, lest our viewers forget, an absolutely incredible comeback to 3-0 Nords on the last map. This has finally gone down in favor of Cheese Ninja, which means that the finals going to be between Cheese Ninja and Ebdanian Admiral. I believe with that, we can conclude our stream. We will see our viewers back shortly for the finals match. Alrighty, welcome back, viewers. We are now in the finals of Roberta's Scramble League tournament. We have Abdanian's team against Cheese Ninja. We are preparing to get started on the first map, as some of our viewers will see. We will be starting off with Naval Outpost, with Cheese Ninja playing Saranids, Abdanian playing Nords. The second map that we'll be looking at here today will be Frosthaven, Vagrus v Swadia, but we'll be coming to that a little bit later on. Wrisq, after watching Cheese Ninja's team play in the semis, you have any thoughts on how well they'll do here against Abdanian?
I mean, it's really hard to say. Of course, we did miss Abdanian's match against Hemp, but I heard that it was very dominant. So, personally, beforehand, I was thinking Hemp was going to take it over Abdanian, but Abdanian's team, apparently a bit of a dark horse. They might give Cheese some trouble here, because, you know, Hemp's team, was no slouch. They have some serious players there, but we will see. Maps and factions are very important to playing into certain teams, and we'll see what they can do here.
Exactly. So I am probably going to come out here and say I think that this is going to be a Nord-sided map. We don't really have any wide open spaces that are too far for the Nordjavs to be effective here, and it is my belief that especially the Saranids having to rely on their cav and archers a lot here in order to be able to pull out wins. Those horses especially, paper thin, very little armor, very little health, despite their high maneuverability, very easy to be taken down by those javelin throws. So, as we prepare to move forward, I'm waiting to see what the delay is here. We understand it's a little bit of a late stream. We are trying to get this underway so, you know, those of us with jobs in the morning can move on to bed. Cheese Ninja says ready, and we are prepared to move forward. So, oh, wait, hold on. We're being referred gold problem here. What seems to be the problem?
Says 1,000 on my screen. Not sure.
All right, brief.
Clearly, it will be a re-in live.
Going to go ahead. Yeah, re-in live. And let's get this underway. Finals match of the Scramble League. Reminder, folks, this is a finals match in a tourney in 2025 in North American Mountain Blade Warband.
I do
Something
need.
I doubt really any of these players. Oh, yes, of course.
I didn't have
sorry,
time to
Wrisq.
set it up.
Change matches, and I forget it immediately. My apologies. We are seeing 1 archer from the Nords, 5 infantry, 2 cav, very aggressive, charging straight at the Saranid spawn. Saranids perhaps being a little cognizant of the Nordic aggression, already booking it down to the boat at the bottom of the map. 2 archers, 3 infantry. Do they have 3 cav? They do have 3 cav. I love this play from the Saranids, knowing that their horses are going to be especially vulnerable to the Nords. They pick up the extra cav to draw their attention and make sure they keep presence on the field. But in order to do that, the Saranids need to press out. They need to engage in the open here. They don't need to be on the flag. What are they doing? They're running away from the Nordic team, giving the Nords with 5 ground troops the boat and simply kiting backwards. I do not believe that this is going to be a viable strategy for them, as the Nordic cav starting to circle, throw their jabs. Saranids have been entirely pushed out of any viable location, and unless the Nords do something foolish here, they should have the win. Now they're choosing to fight in the open. Nordic infantry might be able to pull it out here, but this would be the time for the Saranids to manage to pull something off. Archers firing, Nords get into them, and oh, double kills there, bringing down the Saranid infantry. This looks like it might be a sweep for the Nords, but John manages a kill on Ruthven, but a dominating first round in favor of Abdanian's team, leaving only John alive, and he manages a kill on Fiery, but he himself is brought down. That was a flag that was most favorable for the Saranids. They would have had every opportunity to force a fight out on the right-hand side, and instead they fell back, maybe a little bit of panic, finals jitters, it happens to everyone, but my goodness, that could be a crushing loss for them, depending on how this shakes out.
I reckon it may have been a bit of fear of being in the finals, maybe a bit of fear of the gear of the Nords. The cannot underestimate the pressure of javelins, especially as they were willing to give up that crucial archer spot behind the rock there and up in the top of the boat here.
Exactly, and yet again, the flag just spawned there, and yet they run back to the boat and set up as if they were defending the boat. Flag spawned at the top of the map, Nords immediately begin raising it, and as they're retreating back, the Serenids are going to be forced to sprint across the entire map. Very little time for them to get set up. Their archers need to be moving. Don't be sitting there shooting. One of them needs to go through their spawn, try and get a crossfire. Looks like Kairos is going to be doing that while John sticks with the main infantry group. We see the Nordic Cav circling around. We've got at least 2 Nordic infantry in mail. Not a huge problem for the Serenids. The ones with axes will still do a lot of damage here, but those jabs starting to really come in. Ruthven, good early hit there, knocking out, messing with the Serenid infantry. No heavy damage yet from anyone. Fight's going to commence. Serenid infantry starting to come in. Serenid Cav sweeping through. Pressure being brought on those Serenid archers, though, as Ebdanian for the Nords just sitting in the back, free shooting. We've got kills going back and forth. Infantry for the Nords cleaning up, but the Cav for the Serenids doing work as well, as we see Cheese Ninja with a kill with a bamboo spear. Oh my goodness, and the Serenids still have a great crossfire here as Ebdanian gets taken out by Sparhawk's sword cav, question mark? Well, that would be Sparhawk's specialty, learned from Hero of Hiroshima, as the Serenids come back strong, saying we are not about to take this lying down. Not a sweep, but a very dominating victory here, considering the fact that they had to charge across the map. What did you see there that surprised you the most, Wrisq?
What surprised me the most was them going back to boat after the flag had already spawned there, being completely out of position, being a little bit late on the side with the archer taking a jab as well, but then they closed in, they took a fight with the infantry, of course, didn't go well against the Nord infantry, but like you said, the Serenid Cav came in and just really strong performance. Honestly, that was the crux of the issue for the Nords there.
Mm-hmm. And those Serenids running to the boat, I don't know if they realize this, the Nords are supposed to be the aquatic faction. The Nords are the ones with the boats, but the Serenids say, this one's ours, running to the boat every single round, hoping to get lucky. They don't get lucky this time. They are caught out. If they try and move forward or through that arch, the Nords will drop down on top of them from that trebuchet position, and they will be absolutely caught out and forced into the worst sort of melee fight. Meanwhile, the Nords can just hang back, send a cav to the flag, and this is going to be a rough push for the Serenids. They need to get all their team together here. Meanwhile, they're kind of leaving their archers behind. Not sure what the plan is here. Maybe trying to bait the Nords into jumping after the infantry, but they're certainly not motivated to do so. Ebb looks like he's telling his team to back off. Not sure if he's going to try and come back in, but we're down to almost a minute and a half remaining. Nordcav raising that flag. Serenid's going to have to go and push him off sooner or later, as we see the Nords starting to hop off, but they have potentially been baited into a bad situation here, as there is a crossfire. Ebb getting a headshot on Peterin, though, saving his team. Serenid infantry pushing back forward a little bit outside the crossfires. The Nordic Cav charging back in. No one on the flag. It's not going to be a consideration here. Players going back and forth, kills either way. Serenid Cav doing work, Nordic infantry clapping it back. As we see multiple fights going either way, Mav still up for the Nordic team. Cannot underestimate his impact on these fights. As long as he's alive, I always say his team's got a chance. But then again, the same could be said for Cal, and he is putting in a lot of work there, as Ruthven, maybe hearing me say that Mav is the key to his team, promptly team kills him. The Nords seem to be swiping up there on the boat, pushing toward the remaining archers. There is one number advantage there for the Nords, but you still have mounted Cav for Easter Cow. He's got 30 seconds left. He could go and raise the flag right now. He needs to go raise the flag right now. If he doesn't, his Cav is going to go over there instead. He needs to push back Ebb, go to the flag, and oh my goodness, I would not have done that at all. I think that is just a tactical failure there. I would have said team delay is possible. I would have booked it to the flag, and those Nords would not have been able to do anything about it. But they didn't. Instead, we have a situation where the Nords are now up 2-1, first set of this match.
A couple unexpected clutches there. They had I forgot who it was, but they had somebody in the corner here, and it was a 2v1 with Cal as Cav, and they were not only not able to clean up, but that man survived, and then Cal coming over, getting dehorsed and finished was very unfortunate. 2 huge plays for the Nords there.
Exactly. Nords, for the first round, not trying to actually push down at anyone. Serenids, once again, did they take the boat? Yep, they took the boat. Nords saying, we're going to hold up here in our spawn. Not sure why they would be running over to the lake. And they would have potentially had a chance for the flag, but it finally pays off for the Serenids. They've got the flag again. They're immediately raising it. Nords are going to be forced to charge down the map. By the time they even get close to the boat, the flag will already be halfway up. We are seeing archer spread, 1 archer off to the left, 1 archer on the boat. Traditionally, pushing this flag against this archer setup, there is no great way to go about it, but I do suggest going around the right side where the left side archer is not able to support, and that is indeed what the Nords are doing. Now, they have that archer up top. They need to be kind of careful throwing their jabs. Good work there, forcing that archer to be his head on a swivel. 1 infantry gets onto the boat to shut him down, but meanwhile the Serenids crashing in. Their Cav putting in serious work. Again, 3 horses, 3 times the charge impact here. We are seeing the Nordic infantry struggling just to stay alive, jumping, lunging, dodging, weaving, unable to do anything here. Fiery managing to stay up, but then promptly getting killed by the other archer. Perhaps a little bit of class vengeance there after Fiery made sure to take down Kairos, leaving really only the Nordic Cav and Ebdanian still to fight. Serenid infantry pushing off the flag, moving around, cleaning up the remainder of the Nords, and it looks like this is once again going to be an even number moving into the final round of this first set. Viewers, if any of y'all were hoping for a quick match letting us go to bed on a Sunday night, this might not be the match for you. Meanwhile, Ruthven continuing to play, gets taken down by Cal, finished off. Again, Cal and Cheese Ninja carrying their team right now, putting in serious work, especially respect to Cheese Ninja, playing as infantry and being able to stand up and secure these kills against Nords. That is highly commendable here.
Absolutely. The ability of the Serenids here to just stay alive and survive during these fights is massive. We saw John there playing archer on the rock, swarmed by Cav early on, and although he was finished, it was late in the fight and the Serenids had already pretty much won. Just staying alive there, buying time, getting shots.
Hold on, we've got a class change here. Ebdanian, it seems, not happy about staying as the Nordic Archer, perhaps not feeling like he's getting a huge impact on his team, has swapped to Cav. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like he put Ruthven at infantry, so we are staring at 6 Nordic infantry, 2 Cav. Definitely an off-meta pick, but I don't dislike it here. I think that this is exactly what they need. They need the Jav support. They need to have infantry that can engage the Serenids in melee, while at the same time they've got enough people throwing Javs to take care of that Serenid Cav. And they were also favored with a very convenient flag spawn here. We are going to have to see how the Serenids try to approach this.
We may see
like
a mirror of what happened before.
Kairos through their spawn. Yep. Kairos is through the Serenid spawn. He might get a lucky shot here. Not sure if the Nords realize he's coming, but now they know, and he's there, and they're pushing forward. They anticipated it. They said, as soon as the archer goes, we will fight elsewhere. Ebdanian makes it his mission to dismount the Serenid Cav. As soon as he goes in, Nords going all around. However, the Nords are getting cut to pieces here. Not entirely sure what's happened, unless it is just the Serenid cavalry managing to do some serious work here, as not entirely sure. The Nordic team died incredibly quickly, but whatever happened, it was a bad push. Serenids seem to have secured this last and final round, and against Nords on what, for all intents and purposes, is a closed map, this is definitely a serious victory for Cheese Ninja's team.
Just some excellent teamwork there. Good play. Cav and infantry working well together. Also, potentially, part of the problem there for the Nords was just the Serenid axes. They, a lot of armor on the team. They have the shields that they picked up from the Nords. All things in combination, and maybe just some good play to really clean them up there.
All All right, so we are reading the map. We're going to be not live while the teams get set. What, if anything, would you change if you were Eb's team here?
I think swapping to Cav was not ideal. He was still getting some work in as Archer. It's not always present on the scoreboard, but the regardless of it being a short bow, that is something that the infantry have to think about. You have to respect it. It's something that the Cav have to go in for, and I think it allowed the Serenids to concentrate their pressure a lot better there. As far as what I would do, I mean, the strength of the Nords is in their infantry. They have to stay together. They have to support each other. The team play has to be perfect here. Cheese Ninja's team has been playing very well together. There's very good cohesion. And it just comes down to just good old-fashioned Swobo. They have to win that infantry fight. It's crucial. Of course, I say that, but they are swapping sides. So, I don't know. Perhaps it won't. I don't think it'll be in the Cav. Like you mentioned earlier, the Serenid Cav is fairly weak. Great maneuverability, but all the Javs coming in, so it's a lot to deal with. We'll see if they can make better use of their archers here. That might be the key.
And Serenids wanting to be aggressive here, turning from their spawn, charging, hoping the Nords are still going to be too busy doing drops, and I think that's a bet that was pretty safe to take, as the Serenids do secure that upper raised area. Will it be a good idea for them to force an early confrontation against Nords? I'm seeing 4 Nordic infantry, 2 archers, 2 Cavs, so standard loadout from the Nords as they charge forward, seeing an archer, trying to cut him out of position. Ooh, good early kills there from the Serenids, picking apart both infantry that they are dealing with. Nordic archers from the back, peppering in shots. John gets a kill, but that Serenid infantry and Cav is really doing work here. I did not even get a chance to see exactly what the loadouts were from the Serenid team. They rushed that position so quickly. But even as I say that, Mav getting killed by a stab in the back by GK Sparhawk. Certainly a rough kill there. It's not necessarily over, but again, only 2 Nord players remaining, and as Cal gets taken down, I think this is still going to be a solid play for the Serenids. Again, a couple of sloppy deaths there that they didn't need at the end, but still, a win is a win. First round to Serenids. Ebdanians managed to tie the overall score.
Beautiful aggression there by Ebdanian, just getting in there and despite struggling as Nords, potentially Serenids just being the stronger faction here. Really liking the scimitars and axes and just trusting it.
And here we go. Fight starting again. The Nords still not able. Oh, early kill with Rip. And again, this is just. This is textbook warband right here. Well, up until we see Ruthven just sword cav his teammate to death. But this is textbook warband from the Serenid team. Get the infantry in, get the Nords looking. All the Nord infantry either with their one-handed weapons ready to fight or jabs looking to throw. None of them with spears, none of them with their heads on a swivel. Serenid cav sweeping in, getting those early kills, getting those early bumps, and from there it's just a numbers game and advantage. Nords, I think, have realized that they have had enough of this early aggression. They are booking it over to the pond in order to try and set up for a stronger position later on in the game. Serenids, meanwhile, they just want to fight. They say, we've got the advantage, let's go kill them wherever they are, charging across the map through the tunnels. Not sure if this is necessarily the best play for them to be doing here. They are just saying, we don't care. We're going forward, we're going to fight, but their cav is not there, but the Nordic cav is, and this fight commences with damage being done both sides. Cav picking off players left and right, but it's still fairly even in the infantry fights, but the Nords starting to pick up the kills there. Oh, the Javs are doing work, because once those shields break, you pull them out, you shoot, you go to work. Serenid's still pulling it back, it's even numbers, 4v4, I think advantage Nords in terms of positioning here, but we are seeing very dangerous shots coming from both Serenid archers that are still up. The Nordic archer, let's see, that's John, is going to have to do some work to shut down those Serenids, but he is not succeeding. 2 Nords left. Serenids have managed to pull it out. Cow probably going to go down here. He should have died when he was dismounted, but he's finished off soon after standing up. 1 infantry left, chicken for the Nords. Absolutely dishonorable death there, shooting him down without even granting him the opportunity to kill a foe in melee. But Ebb with a commanding 3-0 clapback after losing the first set. So that brings us to Cheese Ninja 2 to 5. Ebdanian moving into the second map. So, ladies and gentlemen, our second map is going to be Frosthaven, and it's going to be Vagers versus Swadia.
It's a very impressive chain of events there, as Zealots supporting Rip coming in. He got dismounted, was about to be finished by, I believe, John, and Zealots comes in, finishes him, and saves him, and then Rip was able to live on and help finish Cow, and that was very, very close there. It could have gone a different direction, but it was a very nice clutch that led into more kills for their team. That's beautiful.
Well, from watching this tournament, it seems to me, not offering too much of a critique here, that Ebdanian is very much a caller where when his team starts losing, his answer is to answer with aggression. And while normally one wouldn't think of taking the fight to the Nords, they did that 3 times in a row, varying degrees of success, but always successfully, and clutching 3 rounds like that, moving us on. I believe that this map was actually picked by Ebdanian too, so it's possible he might have some strategy for it. I would certainly say that after this momentum shift from the prior rounds, Cheese Ninja is going to be a slight underdog moving forward in this match.
I want to say that second round there, as Ebdanian playing as the Nids, that might have been the fastest round I've seen in a very long time. It was over in an instant.
Yes, multiple fights, 2 fights in a row just taking place immediately out of spawn. There was a map that was very rarely used in competitive back in the day. It was called Back to Back, and the premise of the map was the 2 teams spawned on opposite sides of a large, thick wall. And in between that wall was a tunnel that directly connected the 2 teams. And it had the potential for being the quickest matches if the teams chose to go and fight each other in that tunnel. And I can recall certain rounds back in the day, long ago with pickups, where you would have entire maps done inside of 10 minutes simply from the teams running at each other and fighting in that interconnection spot. But here it looks like Ebdanian's team will be starting on Vagers. Cheese Ninja will be starting on Swadia. Obviously, this is typically in a matchup on an open map, which Frosthaven is. We're going to see a competition between the Vager bows and the Swadian long-all pikes as both teams announce ready. So let's get underway. We see Vager spawning in on their side. I'm seeing 3 cav, 3 infantry, 2 archers. Again, not sure I'm liking this new loadout. Again, it might just be a team's bandwidth. I would really prefer to go for the 4 cav on a map like this. Swadia,
I could interrupt you there really quickly, Marquis. I need streamer mode so I can set the teams here. All good.
My apologies. Looks like we are seeing 2 infantry from the Swadians. I assume 2 crossbows, 4 cav. So more meta pick here for the Swadians as the flag spawns Vager advantage. Now this is going to be a rough situation, having that Bastion in the background with a Vager Archer on top of it. Very annoying to deal with unless you're able to get someone to go out and press that position. Looks like the Vagers have Mav playing Archer. certainly an underrated pick. I know that he's played it before, would seem to be maybe a slight misutilization of his talents, but as I say that, he just starts lighting up horses left and right. Meanwhile, Abdanian trying to get a bit of a spread, perhaps anticipating that the Swadians would just charge straight up, when in fact they went the other way, but a nice double tap there on Cheese Ninja takes him apart, as the Swadians don't seem to know what they're trying to do here, losing 3 players, 4 players before a concentrated push can be had. Sauron and Sparhawk getting picked off as well, leaving only 3 players from the Swadia remaining. I think we had a couple of just solid shots from the Vagar archers there, naturally being carried by the Stellar Cav Wall Crasher, which for those of you not knowing is Mar. Who is doing a significant amount of work here for his team on Cav. We see the remaining Swadians kind of scooting back, wanting to stay alive, save the All Pikes, not risk those falling into enemy hands, deny any economic advantage to the Vagars they can. Reminder, Cheese Ninja's team is down 2 at the moment, meaning that they will need to put in extra effort to try and come back, and they will need to seriously dominate this map in order to have a chance of either winning or forcing a tiebreaker. So we see the remaining Vagar Cav trying to hunt him down here. Oh, Abdanian with a shot on Cal. That's going to be an all-pike that somebody can secure, and it looks like they are going for it at the moment. And Mara's able to pick it up. So that'll be at least 1 all-pike for the Vagars moving forward here.
I believe they had already picked up 1. They should be at 2 now. That is plus the financial victory of dominating that round. That was very overpowering by the support of the archers and the Cav.
Yes, not a single kill from the Swadian side. They've left a loaded crossbow back in their spawn. Hopefully one of the Cav goes back and picks it up. As the Swadians pushing to the open, taking that top tower area, Vagars content to let them take it. Instead, they're going to hold their own ridgeline. Party's entirely set up for a flag spawn down on the frozen lake, and it does spawn on the frozen lake. This will be a circumstance where, despite the Vagar archers basically standing in the same spot, they are entirely likely to have some serious damage done on this play, as the Swadians are moving all the way to the boat. They are giving a full Cav escort to get a crossbow on that boat. They took both their infantry over there, and the Vagars are matching them. The team's ignoring the flag to simply go and fight in a corner of the map, far away from both of their respective supporting ranged units. So this is going to be an interesting fight. Can't say I've ever seen a fight like this break out before on this map. Oh, and we see John sniping Abdanian as he tries to set up in the boat. And again, multiple shots coming in. Vagars trying to chase down the Swadians. Multiple kills coming in. Swadians really cleaning up the damage here, as again, Mav too far away to offer significant range support, and that was a significant win for the Swadians. With 2 players left on the Vagars, might be able to do some damage here, but at the same time, I personally would not have tried to make that push all the way down to the boat. Take the flag, rely on superior archer fire, force the infantry to run into a crossfire to come fight you. But it's easier to call when you are casting, because I get to see it all. As the Vagars spawning in, moving left, taking Bastion once again. Not seeing any class changes here to date. From the Swadian side, no changes either. Not seeing any armor, really. Kairos, it looks like, is armored up. That might give him a little bit of an advantage dealing with these enemy Cav, but at the same time, it's the infantry that you really want to stay alive. That living 1 extra lance hit, 1 extra swipe from an enemy sword can make a huge difference in giving your Cav opportunities to play off of you. As the flag spawns back behind the Vagars, Definitely going to be, or sorry, behind the Swadians, rather, definitely going to be Swadian advantage here. Although, again, one of the risks that you play into is if you try and play defensive, if you cede the advantage to the attacking side's archers will get a chance to basically sit back and take free shots. And I would not want to do that against the Vaegrs, as the Vaegr team pushing down the right side from flag, moving roughly together, both archers on roughly the same vector, but they are peppering that Swadian cav as the fight commences up in a bad spot for the Swadian cav to support. But that being said, they're still doing work. Swadian infantry killing off the Vaegr infantry with support of their cav. 3 players down for Vaegr's, 2 for Swadi. It could still go either way, as Swadian cav getting dismounted and archers kiting back. Swadian infantry has moved away from their crossbow support, but it doesn't matter because they're simply killing everyone they run into, as we end up seeing the remaining Vaegr cav kiting backward, running away, and the Swadian cav working to support their remaining players, keep everybody alive, get everybody able to armor up as much as possible. Sauron, 5-1, not someone that you typically think of when you want to say top performing cav player, at least in warband. He has historically always been an infantry player, but you know what? If he's been rusty as infantry, playing him at cav definitely seems to be helping out, as a cross-map shot from Kairos obliterates Ruthven's spine. He goes down, and that's another round for the Swadians.
Despite being outnumbered, the Vaegr cav have been playing extremely well. Not only that, that last round they did not have a single long alt pike, and they were the last to survive. I mean, naturally, cav is pretty livable. They are on hunters, and they are very mobile. But they, despite the disadvantage, have been playing very well. Cow here with a great helm. Love to see it.
He says, I want to make sure I'm not dying to a headshot this round. Look, he's also got the scale gloves. Interesting fashion choices, but I'm certainly not one to question. Flag spawn, Vaegr advantage again. Remember, first time the flag spawned here at the beginning of this set, the Swadians were absolutely caught out and basically cut to pieces. Curious if the same thing's going to happen this time. Mav set up top in tower again. Ebb kind of holding, not really back by the rocks, but more forward. I'm not sure what exactly he's planning. He should be expecting the Swadians to push him, and indeed they are. I'm not necessarily sure why he's trying to hold so far away from his infantry. As his infantry starts scooting up to come protect him, probably the smart choice, but at the same time, he gets shot, he's in a crossfire, not looking the right way, he's got a kite back, he's probably going to get cut to pieces by the enemy cav. As the fight commences, Swadian cav putting in a bunch of work, leading the charge here. Rip taking out Sparhawk, Pichu killing Buenos. Swadian infantry just staying alive, right, as the old song goes. Cal putting in serious work with that long all pike, 8-1. We want to talk about the rate of fire of the Vaegr archers, but even the rate of fire of Vaegr archers doesn't compare to the rate of fire of stabbing with that long all pike, as the Swadians mop up the remainder of the Vaegr team, and this is going to be Cheese Ninja finishing out the set 3-1. Which brings us to Cheese, who I believe was previously at 3, now at 6, to Abdanian, who was also at 5, now at 6. Alrighty, and I'm going to read the map. This is going to be not live as we move into the final set of the finals of this tournament. All right, and here we are back, prepped to go into the final set of this tournament finals. As a reminder for those watching, the score is currently 6-6. There is no chance for a tiebreaker here, so sorry to all of you Winterberg fans out there. No
please.
mirrored matchup on Winterberg. Instead, whomever wins this set will win the first, hopefully one of many, tournaments in Warband in North America in 2025. We see coming in Vaegr scooting right out of their spawn, 2 archers, 2 infantry, 4 cav. Very meta pick, very meta loadout. Same loadouts that they had used as Swadia. Meanwhile, the Swadians, I see 2 infantry.
5 cavalry and an archer.
5 cavalry for Swadians. I don't dislike this pick.
I respect it.
You know that you're going to struggle to keep up with the rate of fire of the Vaegr's. You have the advantage of cav. Give some of your guys long haul pikes and create additional decoys if you're willing to do it. It looks like Abdanian choosing to play himself as cav here. He's got a crossbow set up in tower. Good spot considering the flag. That's really all that you need your crossbow to be. His infantry a little spread out. Looks like they're thinking of moving to the flag. Vaegr archers holding on the back ridge. Now, ideally, if you've got 5 cav, you want to be doing crashes on the enemy archers, and it kind of looks like that's what the Swadian cav is thinking about, as a lot of them are angling over into the village, but at the same time, oh, they need to crash now. Both Vaegr archers just in the same spot, up top. Just send 1 cav to go shut them both down, win the fight on the flag with everything else. And that looks like that's what they might have wanted to do, but the Vaegr infantry pulling back, ceding ground to the Swadian infantry, minute 15 remaining on flag. Vaegr is going to have to go back in. It looks like they're just trying to buy as much time for their archers to shoot as possible, but the archers aren't shooting. They keep having to pull their shields out and guard against the shots from, I believe that is GK Zealots, the sole crossbow from the Swadians, bullying both Vaegr archers from the other side. As this fight starts breaking out on the flag, we are seeing early kill from Ruthven, picking off Petrin. Vaegr's down to an early disadvantage as the fight commences. Sauron claps back. Ebb with a bad team kill there on one of his infantry, but he picks it back up with a kill on the enemy infantry. Realistically, this is anyone's game here as the Swadian manages to pull it out. The remaining Swadian infantry not even using an all-pike. He says he doesn't need it. So I have a sword. What more do I need? I can dodge and weave. And it is 3 Vaegrs to 5 Swadians remaining here as the Swadians picking apart the remaining Vaegrs, and despite the efforts from the Vaegr team, that one goes in favor of Abdanian's side, with Ebb being led by Mav at Cav, leading his team. Moving on, it looks like the Swadians moving forward, prepping to contest that right side flag. Obviously, they can't beat the Vaegr's to that coveted bastion support position to set up their archers, but at the same time, fully prepared to potentially push in as necessary. Looks like the Cav's starting to spread across the map. Flag should be spawning on here any second, and it is in Swadian favor. Despite having already taken the first round, now they have the opportunity to fall back and defend. But will they choose to? That is the question here. With 5 cav, you want to be aggressive. You don't want to give your opponents a chance to just sit and fire and shoot down your horses. And the Swadians are holding. They're not falling back to the flag. Their crossbows in a very guarded position. Vaegr's seem honestly a little caught out here, perhaps thinking the fight would be on flag. They committed their archers to the fight out in the open, and they're getting picked apart here. Fiery getting multiple kills. Ebb's team getting multiple kills here. Just overall, just an absolute massacre of the Vaegr team. Not expecting the Swadians to stand and fight, simply moving across the map, figuring the fight was going to be on flag, cut to pieces. Although, as we say that, they get into a closed-in area. Sauron and Daemon putting up a fight. We're doing what they can to reduce the economic advantage of the Swadians. Reminder, folks, this is a snow map, which means we're dealing with a Swadian snowball at the moment.
That pun again. You gotta retire that one.
And hey, I'm going to keep using it as long as it's appropriate. But that being said, we have multiple folks in armor, multiple war horses from the Swadian team, crossbows and armor. Beggars are going to have to do something special here to try and pull this back.
I think the odds couldn't be greater for the Swadians here. It's a cav map. They have the best cav. They have the most cav. And it is potentially going to be on a very open flag here. No, it is on the other side.
Off on the left. So this is an interesting matchup. If I were the Swadians, I'd want to charge, catch the Vagers in their spawn, let your cav come down at them. They've left their crossbow back at tower, not sure if they're going to be able to push. Perhaps they're thinking of beating the Vagers to the flag setups rather than be aggressive. Their team is very much spread out. Vager team sees this. Vager's going to commit all of their cav to killing Zealots, shut down the enemy crossbow as the Swadian infantry running back, turning around, but those all pikes doing so much damage to the Vager cav, and Zealots is able to escape. I don't think a lot of damage was done there. Meanwhile, we've down to a minute, almost a minute 30. And we've got Swadia raising the flag. Vager's chasing after him, but the Vager archers not greatly positioned here. They're just kind of trailing the fight. And at the same time, well, we shall see. It looks like John's able to get up top. That could certainly be a big advantage as, multiple kills from the Vagers there. 4 kills, one after the other, with a bad team kill from Zealots on Mav. And this could be the turnaround the Vagers need to stay in this game. Zealots takes out Sparhawk, potentially shooting from behind. Not sure where he was. John takes down Ruthven. 1 minute left. Flag is fairly high for the Swadians, but I believe with the Vager infantry starting to move onto it, it's not going to be a huge problem. Zealots occupied in melee. Cal securing multiple long all pikes, and at the same time securing a war horse. This is an incredible turnabout. If Cal survives, it'll be huge for the Vager team. Looks like Zealot's just kind of holding in a corner, seeing if he can do some damage here. At the same time, that gives the Vagers a great chance to kind of re-equip, rearm, loot anything that they want, and prep to upgrade for the following round. Cal finishes off Zealots, perhaps securing his ability to get some upgraded armor this following round, and we see the Vagers on the board.
There it is, the helmet for Cal. That is he is going to be a menace this round.
With that armor, he can easily be one-shot. Given a crossbow bolt to the body, he'll die in 2 shots. So
Better than a one-shot to the head.
Cal might actually be calling for his team. I'm seeing him just be stabbing in random positions here. It looks like the Vagers are going to contest the Swadians setting up in that tower. They said, we have the advantage, we have the momentum, we're going to take it. But against 5 Swadian cav fighting in the open, not a decision I'd make here, as the Vager archer is just going to be in the open, going to get caught out. Swadian infantry pressing him, John forced into melee, unable to do any shots. Ebb getting a sword kill on an infantry, and it looks like, oh no, this was an over-aggressive play from the Vagers as they are getting cut to pieces. Cal gets taken out, single stab from Mav, and despite, some kills coming back from the Vager team, they are getting just cut to pieces here. Perhaps forgetting the fact that the long all pikes, well, they're Swadians, they get them every round. Unless Sparhawk carries off the 1v6 here, Ebdanian's team will be the victor for this 2025 Scramble tournament. And
there it is.
With that, the match is over. And with that, we have final score, 7 to Cheese Ninja, 9 to Ebdanian. Ebdanian's team takes the win in this final of Scramble League tournament. Thanks to everybody for watching. This is Marquis. This is Wrisq. Presumably signing off. We will return.